So how can we use the Google Drive space, which is kind of this confusing jumble of interfaces, to upload photos and share them with other people? This is a really quick tutorial. The one caveat for this is that anyone with the link can see the images. Not a big deal, I think, in this circumstance. And another one is that we are understanding that we have backups of the images elsewhere. So this isn't our primary place that we're housing the images. So it's not like an archive or something like that. That's going to be really precious if we lose the password. What I'd recommend is creating a new Gmail account that reflects the name of the folder and the organization that you want to put your images in. But this is what it would look like when you're in Gmail. And you can make a Gmail account for anyone. This is my throwaway account that I use for spam. It's currently empty. I just cleaned it out. You'll notice right here, you'll see this number again where it says percentage of data used, and we have 15 gigabytes. Google has a paid service where you can up that if you need to have more space. But so far I've found that I've put up hundreds of photos, and I only have used up 1 gigabyte. If this was a financial institution, 15 gigabytes would be laughably small. We would want terabytes, but I think in this case we'll be okay. When you go over to this icon right here, there's one that is Photos, Google Photos. But if you look, when we transition over here, you'll probably see that 15 gigabytes number again. What you get when you're right here is there's this question that says, do you want to add some photos? This is one way you could do it, and then you could create an album later. But I'm going to show you how to make an album and then name it and then put photos in it right then and there. So you can see your list of albums from right here. But if you go up to Assistant, and there's 2 choices, album, shared album, we want the shared album. And then at this moment, well, I guess you can't rename it at this moment. There'll be a time where you can name it. But it says, do you want to add some photos? And off the screen here, I have a sample folder. And I will drag it on here. It's called B-Ball Team. And then it'll say, well, next time try the desktop unloader. That's something that just synchronizes automatically. I don't know why I have that skipped message. Ignore that for now. But here you see the ones that says, do you want to add this to the album that you were creating? Oops, I wanted to do shared album, didn't I? New shared album. And it'll dump the photos in there that I had taken. And here's your chance to name it whatever you want. You could call it whatever you want. The key moment here, though, is up here on this side where it says share. You can change the name of the folder at any time, but I think this share will give you a persistent link. And this is what you would use to distribute these things via email. And this is not going to be necessarily accessible to the open web, but if you share a link, then it can go out to anybody. When you type in the name or the email, this is something that would run through the Gmail account that we established at the outset. But what I typically like to do is get the link, and then you can choose who you email this to in any regard. You can copy the link, and then I'll open up this link, and you can see what it is. These handy links are the security and password and all those things to get into it. So if you don't know this, there's no metadata attached to these, where if somebody did a Google search for basketball, or if they did a Google search for any of the things that you might see in here, we haven't attached any metadata to this, so they wouldn't necessarily find it. So the link is the only way that you could get in. And when you click on the link, it's a familiar interface, isn't it? And what people can do is there's options to download these images. You, as the account owner, would be able to manage the images. So you would be able to unshare, or you would be able to edit albums, or you'd be able to move things around ad nauseum. And I think this is a good solution for what we're looking at the outset. But again, the one problem that we have is we're limited to 15 gigabytes. I think the 2 folders that I had put up so far, which probably had like 100 photos in them, are down, we're down 1 gigabyte for that. But the solution to that would be to open up a second Gmail account if we ran out of room, or delete the photos, or just put up the greatest hits of photos instead of just throwing everything under the sun up there. I'm happy to help manage those things. Please let me know if I can do anything. But I hope this helps.